welcome to the Tavern Chat Podcast. I am your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, your main proprietor at the Tenkar's Tavern blog, Discord server, Meebee group, Facebook group, Twittering, and Instagram shite. I couldn't tell you what my Instagram shit is, but I have one. Now, my little cat Ashley's on the footrest where I got my feet, and she's looking at me like, I think I want to climb on your lap, Daddy. And no, you can't because I'm busy right now, young lady. So, what is new in the world of gaming? Well, on Facebook, I was talking about, for Blood and Coin, which is the deal of the day over a drive-thru, and it is a dark, grim take of the Swords and Wizardry white box rules. And a comment on that thread in the Swords and Wizardry community went a little bit beyond that and mentioned my Swords and Wizardry light rules. When I say mine, listen. I took Matt Finch's work. I cut it down to 4 pages. So basically, yes, I really ripped it apart. But I wanted to simplify things, and these rules apparently are being used for blind teenage students to help them learn to socially interact, solve problems. And the rules are short enough, simple enough that they can keep track of their own character sheet, and they can read the rules or listen on their reader. And I am thrilled. Part of the background to this is a number of years ago at North Texas, I guess the first year at the new hotel. So that would mean 2 years ago, 3 years ago? I'm no longer even sure. There was a discussion as to how we could get Swords and Wizardry Light and Swords and Wizardry White Box or a Core or a Complete into a format that the legally blind could use. And the blind, the truly blind, those whose vision impairment doesn't allow any sight, where they have to use readers. We talked, the technical hurdles, for those of us that were having the discussion, there was a will, we couldn't figure out a way. So I am excited to see this actually being used. Because, as I've mentioned elsewhere, I've probably mentioned in this podcast, when I designed the Swords and Wizardry Light rules, when I took Matt Finch's rules and literally chopped the shit out of them to make something that was 4 pages, yet coherent, wasn't a quick start, allowed advancement, allowed that feel of what a role-playing game is, and yet wouldn't intimidate with dice that one could differentiate D6 and a D20. There were multiple reasons, one of which was my niece. She was 5 at the time, and she was enthralled with the whole idea of Dungeons and Dragons. And as she told me when I showed her the 4 pages of Swords and Wizardry Light rules, she told me, Uncle, you can teach me to read 4 pages, and then I can play Dungeons and Dragons. And that was exciting for her. The idea, and then she goes, Uncle, you wrote this for me. And yes, Shannon, if you ever listened to this episode, you were one of the reasons why I wrote that. I wanted something that was going to be easy for younger kids to embrace, not be overwhelmed. At the same time, I wrote it for Rach. Why did I write it for my wife? Well, Rachel, and I'm sure a lot of you have no clue, and you've met her and spoken with her and probably sat down and had lunch with her at a con. Rachel's legally blind. So, a long RPG book at the top, at the font that at me, at 52, I complain and bitch about that it's hurting my eyes, is not good for Rach. All right, 4 pages is something that she can absorb, and the simplified dice is huge. I know when I first started playing RPGs, to differentiate between the D12 and the D20 from a distance, it took me a while. But if you're having if you have a vision deficit, if you have a vision issue, D8s and D10s, D12s and D20s look very similar. D6 and D20, you're good. And it's good for kids too. It simplifies it. They only have to learn the 2 dice. So, that and convention play. I wanted something that was easy and quick for convention play and pickup games. And when I run convention games, it's Swords of Which We Light. I explain the rules in the 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so it takes for people to roll out their characters. I don't give out pre-gens. Now, usually people bring their characters back, and if they survive, they get another level. If you're listening to this podcast and you've played in any of my convention games and your character survived and you would have been at one of the cons that have been canceled because of COVID, I'll give you credit for successfully surviving. So, that means that people should be second level if they're bringing a character back from 2019. Sounds good, right? I like the idea. Alright, folks, that's some of the reasoning behind Swords in Which We Light. Just figured I throw it out there because I'm excited. I'm excited that the light rules are being used as a tool to help blind students out. That is so fucking awesome. It really is. Alright, folks, on that note, social distancing, 6 feet. Wear your mask. I saw my old bartender today. I was helping him with an application he had to fill out. I have computer access. He does not. He's almost 80. And we met outside. We were both wearing masks. We were both, keeping that social distance. Which sucks, but it is what it is. Wash your hands 20 seconds after touching something or coming from the outside or whatever. Alright, folks? Use common sense. Okay? Use common sense. Alright. On that note, be safe, be well, God bless, roll those dice, and God willing, I will talk with you all tomorrow. Later, folks.